I was arranging songs. Cleophas Adderley would reach out to me and say, write something for us. And so every season, I think almost every season since then, I've been writing and arranging for the choir, up until now.
You mentioned profiling. What are some of the other songs that are familiar right now through the minds and the hearts of Bahamians?
Jungle is Gone to Court. True story, sitting under the tree and watching this conversation, and went to studio and did it. Stray Dog. Y'all can get your stray dog out my yard. He trying to eat me and bite me real hard, talking about dogs running after cars and pampas in my yard and all that kind of stuff. But we know about that, the pot cakes. Brown Gal, Come to Mash Up the Party, a takeoff of Brown Girl in the Ring. And then, of course, for all the women, we call this the anthem. Everybody thought I was Alison Hines at one point with the song, No matter how independent you are, you still need a man.
And on that note, what is the best advice you would have given to date to others who want to come, other inspiring artists?
You have to believe in yourself, and you have to pray. I tell people, everybody say, oh, you're so tough and rough. I'm not. Obi say, oh, you're hard, but you got a soft heart. And that's the truth. I was brought up by a praying grandmother, and I believe that her prayers, even to this day, still guiding me and leading me and bringing me through.
Amen.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
The world. I'm starting a doctorate in musical arts, and the doubt is there, the fear is there, but I'm gonna do it. I don't know how, by hook or crook, but I'm going to do it.
The industry right now is a competitive one. If you could change anything about the industry, what would it be?
In our industry, especially here in our Bahamas, I think we need to get rid of the black crab syndrome. This pond is too small for that. Everybody has to help everybody, Like my grandma used to say, Han, come on, go. If I don't have the money to record a song, I can go in somebody's studio and sing, and I sing background for you on somebody else's project. I think as artists, we just have to realize that God has blessed each one of us with our individual talents, and there's no need for jealousy, there's no need for backbiting and starving and all that stuff. So, just like I always say, be yourself, be honest, be truthful to yourself.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the nation's chief presenting a communication on FTX in the House of Assembly today. Plus, a bill tabled in Parliament to usher the Bahamas into a new era for mental health. And the Ministry of Health and Wellness relaxing the mask mandate for educational institutions. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Topping news tonight, FTX Digital Markets Limited is an entity of the FTX Group regulated in the Bahamas. The FTX Group and affiliates all now appear to be subject to insolvency proceedings pending in the nation's capital and the United States. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis stating during his communication on the collapse of FTX that the entity's registration is suspended and placed in provisional liquidation. Following reports that the FTX Group has mismanaged customer assets, numerous investigations were launched into those allegations and actors in several countries, including the Bahamas' Securities Commission and the Financial Crimes Investigation Branch. The Prime Minister making it clear today in the House of Assembly that the Bahamas did not have sole oversight of FTX's worldwide operation.
A key priority for us, of course, is the full and absolute protection of the rights and remedies of the Bahamas and our citizens, to minimize losses and to mitigate the overall impact caused by any misconduct. Madam Speaker, there have been both booms and busts in the world of crypto. This year has been a significant bust.
The Prime Minister says he has given instructions for the proceedings and investigations to be of the highest order and given precedence.
I have every confidence that the Bahamas will emerge from the proceedings involving FTX. Proceedings taking place here as well as in other jurisdictions. With an enhanced, the Bahamas will emerge with an enhanced reputation as a solid digital asset jurisdiction.
Based on the analysis and understanding of the FTX liquidity crisis to date, the Prime Minister says they have not identified any deficiencies in the Bahamas' regulatory framework that could have avoided this. In fact, he says it was because the Bahamas already had in place a regulatory framework for digital assets and digital asset businesses that the regulator was able to take immediate steps to protect the interests of clients, creditors, and other stakeholders globally.
The Bahamas are already on track to update the regulatory framework before year's end to address lessons learned as a result of this year's crypto winter. No doubt, as the various jurisdictions involved unravel the actions that led to this moment, we will be among the first jurisdictions to gain and put to use valuable insights.
The nation's leader concluding the communication on FTX by asking those who care about the country's reputation to tread carefully when speaking on matters that are complex and is still unfolding.
This is a story that has the world's attention, and those who use it to lead and score cheap political points are no patriots. So I invite all of us, as I've said, just to tread carefully.
Well, today is described as a red-letter day for many Bahamians whose lives are impacted by mental health illness. Health professionals and advocates have called for mental health reform for many years, and today the call has been answered as the nation's leader tabled a mental health bill in the House of Assembly. The Prime Minister says the bill effectively modernizes the law surrounding mental health and respects the rights of those facing mental health challenges. It also establishes a framework to expand the resources for those who need it.
Mental Health Bill 2022 repeals and replaces the Mental Health Act of 1969. 1969. That is how long it has been since we have enacted such a comprehensive reform to the existing mental health legislation. What we see before us represents hard work by policymakers and experts working together to get this done. My administration has treated the passing of this legislation as a matter of urgency because we know the difficulties people are facing throughout the nation.
The mental health bill will be viewed as the human rights bill. It has provisions to allow appointed representatives to assist those living with severe mental illnesses in making decisions about their treatment, as well as their personal and financial matters. The Prime Minister says it also allows for the establishment of a mental health services board and review tribunal.
The objectives of this bill include preserving the human rights of those diagnosed with mental illnesses, ensuring they are aware of their rights and are protected from discrimination, ensuring that appropriate levels of mental health care and treatment options are available in our communities, empowering persons with mental illness to make decisions about their care and treatment while providing safeguards to protect them and ensure they are treated and humanely, and establishing standards for mental health services, ensuring that there are benchmarks related to quality, safety, and appropriateness of treatments and facilities.
Well, some good news. The mask mandate has been relaxed for educational institutions, according to a news release issued by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is advising the public that as of Monday, November 14th, the mask mandate for all persons in an indoor setting, classroom rather, in an educational institution has been relaxed. However, the requirement to wear a face mask remains in effect for persons in the following settings. All persons, including patients, visitors, vendors, and workers accessing a public or private healthcare facility such as clinics, hospitals, labs, doctors, or dentist offices for any reason. Any visitor or non-residential worker of a long-term care residential facility. The public is also reminded that some persons will continue to prefer to wear a mask for protection from COVID-19, regardless of the setting. Their choice to do so should be respected by all. The Advisory Committee of the Ministry of Health and Wellness will continue to monitor the in-country and global COVID-19 pandemic situation and provide science-based public health recommendations necessary for the health and safety of citizens and visitors of the Bahamas. Well, in other news, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce held its November business luncheon meeting today at the Pelican Bay Resort. The guest speaker was Chinese Ambassador Her Excellency Dai Quinley, pointing to additional opportunities for economic growth that would be fostered in the Bahamas, where forge and strengthened relationship with China. Raven Davis has more.
As global economies hone in on recovery efforts in the wake of COVID-19, Her Excellency Dai Qingli, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Bahamas, says that more can be achieved by simply working together. Qingli making the comments during the Chamber of Commerce monthly luncheon, while underscoring the thriving economic and commercial partnership the Bahamas shares with China. She notes that one target area in promoting growth is more direct free trade between the mentioned nations.
The different ideas have been raised, particularly regarding Grand Bahama, like making Freeport a distribution center, a center for warehousing, and even a manufacturing center for the Bahamas, covering the entire Caribbean region and even in the southern parts of the United States. And China, as you may know, provide a lot of goods, many goods, especially like everyday materials and different light industrial goods for the rest of the world. So if you buy directly from China, you will save a lot.
Self-sufficiency also a point of discussion. The ambassador suggesting the Bahamas tap into its productive capacity by becoming more self-sufficient on key fronts like agriculture.
So we will be doing a major agricultural technical assistance project from our Hunan province, one of our provinces. So we want to demonstrate to the Bahamian agricultural farmers and agro businesses, how to run a viable business with the greenhouse cultivation of vegetables and fruits. And we are also working with UNDP and FAO on backyard farming initiatives.
And as a country that boasts of an abundance of sunshine, she adds that solar development is another avenue to delve into.
We are world leading in solar energy technology, like Huawei, a well-known Chinese company based in Nassau. Yeah, they have some business in Nassau. So why not, apply their technologies here in the Bahamas to have like home and office solutions. So initially you need to make an investment, but that will come back in like a couple of years.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
In news from the Crime Beat, police on Grand Bahama investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of an illegal firearm. Officers at the Criminal Investigation Department found the weapon in the area of Magellan Crest in Freeport sometime around 11 o'clock yesterday morning. No arrests have been made in connection with the discovery of this antique firearm. Meanwhile, over in Abaco, police officers attached to the Marsh Harbor Police Station while on routine patrol searched an adult male of Treasure Key who was discovered with a quantity of suspected marijuana. The illegal drugs were confiscated and he was arrested. Both matters remain under active police investigation. A 36-year-old male of Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock, was arraigned on 2 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse before Magistrate Simone Brown this morning. The man was not required to enter a plea and was granted bail in the sum of $10,000 with 1 or 2 suretors. Additionally, he will be fitted with an electronic monitoring device. The matter has been adjourned to March 29th of next year. A 34-year-old Ronaldo Clyde of Spring City, Abaco, appeared before Senior Magistrate Ancella Evans in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. He was charged with 8 counts of sharp breaking and 8 counts of stealing. Clyde pleaded guilty to all charges and was sentenced to 4 years for sharp breaking and 3 years for stealing. The sentences are to run concurrently. He has been remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And when we come back, our ZNS News team got a close and personal look with the first Bahamian woman to head to space. The details of that story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Come on down. Come on down now.
The coconut got this, cocoa skin dripping madness, juiciness, ice divide this, sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice honey, I think all of my love me, sweet like sugar in a watch it go ba ba ba, 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 sweet like sugar in a
new Clear Platinum flavor, flavored beers with a kick of rum, make it platinum.
Keeping the temperature right with Bethel's Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, specializing in servicing of units, unit repairs, duct cleaning, prevention maintenance, project consultation, contractual services, and marine services.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good?
What happened?
Officer, you saying I'm a truck anywhere?
No, sir.
So why you weren't here depositing the money and you ain't get no protection?
What you need to do is mind the business that pays you.
Oh, so she say that. Yeah, avocado head.
Hey, niceness.
Yeah, watch this.
How you doing there, bad man? You can't let me, darling.
Get.
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 You think guys a dog ain't, but get. Give me this thing, girl.
Get up. Hey, get him.
I ain't get nothing.
Sarge, you stay there and let them rob me?
I don't say mind the business that pays us.
I got. Hold on. I do that, no. I get a set. That can't give me that fight.
Just a reminder to members of the public that when depositing monies in the bank or any depository location, check your surroundings to be aware of any suspicious persons or vehicles lurking in the area with the intention of committing a crime. I'm advising you to seek the assistance of the police or perhaps an armored truck. Let's continue to work together to create safer communities.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. She is the first Black African-American, more importantly, the first Black Bahamian woman set to travel to space. Aisha Bowe is here on Grand Bahama, and while visiting, she spoke with our ZNS News team on the new venture, expressing words of wisdom of how she got to the top of her dreams. Jolanda Thompson Everest reports.
She is described as a leader, an innovator, and a dreamer, and now the first Black woman to travel to space. Named Aisha Bowe, she is an Exuma native, inspiring millions on her recent accomplishment. She says her dream began with the transformation of a new mindset, and now she seeks to empower young girls to follow suit. Bowe says she is excited and can't wait to become the first Bahamian descent to go into space, will also be the first African-American woman to fly on the New Shepard rocket Blue Origin. She reveals details of what happens next before the historic flight.
I not only will be watching my diet, which is going to be really interesting during this holiday period, but I also will be going through a series of preparatory steps. I'm hoping to work with Zero G in order to do a zero gravity flight. I will also be talking a lot about education and entrepreneurship to women and Bahamians throughout the country, not only here in Grand Bahama, but I'll be in Nassau. I'm basically going to be traveling around talking about the Bahamas and participation in space.
The Exuma native is explaining how it all began, reminiscing that she started in cosmetology, and while at community college, she discovered a love for math and engineering.
I'm good with math, I'm good with science, and I have a little bit of engineering swag too. And because of that, I was able to transform not only myself, but my career, but I built businesses without an engineering degree initially. I built companies without an MBA or any type of business training initially, right? I kind of got ahead of where I really wanted to be by allowing myself to dream.
Bo is sharing a touching message to young Bahamian women with similar interests in technology or engineering fields.
What was popular, I always did what I felt was right for me. When I went to start my business, my mom didn't talk to me for 3 months because I went from working as an aerospace engineer at NASA in a secure government job to basically trying to figure out how I was going to pay rent. I didn't have a lease for an entire year because I didn't make steady income and I couldn't afford to house myself. And at that time, people thought, oh, she's crazy, she's never going to make it. But here I am standing today, the CEO of but not one, but 2 multi-million-dollar companies, and I'm telling you about something that sounds like it's science fiction, but it's a fact. And so to all the people out there who are wondering whether or not they're going to give themselves permission to live a big life, I encourage you, go for your dreams, do it.
Aisha Bo says she began focusing on programs that gave her visibility and implores on persons to do the same. She is stating that a person can get started wherever they are in life. However, she encourages them to start now. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Great stuff there. Well, the Grand Bahama Port Authority is launching the second cohort of its STEM and Empowerment and Educational Program Workshop. The 2-day focus is said to be cultivating the STEM skill sets of students here on Grand Bahama, which is a part of their REEF collaborative vision. The cohort is expected to facilitate 70 students from 3 junior high schools. GBPA Business Development Officer Trevor Simmons says the workshop will teach the students how to build a backup sensor. Simmons also noting the advancement of technology, mathematics, and engineering should be a demonstration at an early age.
The program was designed for grades 7 through 9. We understood that the earlier that we're able to give students these STEM education and exposure opportunities, the more time they have to figure out what it is that they can do and what it is that they want to do, what opportunities are available as a STEM professional, not only here in the Bahamas, but at large around the world.
Sponsors in the coding workshop bringing brief remarks, all expressing that they believe the consistent effort of these investments exceeds a 2-day workshop.
Because once they get the kits, they can take them home and they can execute a series of lessons with our online curriculum and instruction, which they will also receive support not only from my team, but from a community of their peers who have gone through the same instruction. And so this is really the first step. We're building confidence. We're helping them understand that this technology is fun, that it's immersive, and that it's engaging, and that they can, in fact, take this and apply it to problems around them to build a better Bahamas.
To support and help students develop technical skills, particularly in the realm of computer science and coding.
Because the things they're doing with technology now can blow you out of the water. And so BTVI is thrilled to be involved with this initiative.
Now the SEED program is expected to begin Thursday, November 17th through 18th at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute. Well, Bishop Michael Elden School recently celebrating their Eco Schools Green Day and Open House in collaboration with the Keep Grand Bahama Clean program, a poster competition under the theme A Clean Environment. Why it is important, forming a major part of the celebrations. Students from the primary, junior, and senior division combining their imaginative and educational skills for a chance to win the poster competition.
I decided to join this competition so people could see my ideas to stop the world from becoming what it's going to become in the near future.
If you treat the environment bad, it will probably lead to global warming.
It's important, you know, showing the posters, because young people listen more when they hear from young people, and this is what this presents, an opportunity for everyone to listen and hear and do.
Looking forward to seeing the finished products, because what I've seen so far is very, very good.
Now, the Eco Schools program is dubbed the largest sustainable schools program globally. Keep Grand Bahama Clean Chairman Nikita Wilchcomb notes that between October and November, a number of other schools also celebrated Green Day. She says the committee is there to assist in mentoring schools on the island and is also encouraging more schools to become eco schools.
Some of the children have depicted some messages just to encourage persons in the community to keep our environment clean. And so I'm seeing masterpieces already when I look at their art pieces and how they are seeing the world. You know, some are mentioning pollution. Let's stop the pollution. Let's be a part of the solution, be a part of the change that we need to see. And so some key messages are coming out from their art pieces.
Your Wednesday Check on Sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. Well, high school volleyball championships matchups are now set. Let's look at how the teams got there.
It is championship day in the Rosina Nesbitt Oriole Nodes High School Volleyball League, and the coaches say it is all a matter of preparation.
I think once we come out and focus, we should be fine.
Playing with the confidence that they have and they continue with the basics.
They want to play, they want to win, and I'm just going to keep motivating them.
Seasoned girls along with some inexperience, and when we put that together, you know, this is the outcome of it.
Finals was a quadruple header at the St. George's Gymnasium. A senior boys action, the Jack Hayward Wildcats survived the feisty effort of the LIS Buccaneers, winning that match 2-1. Advancing to meet the Wildcats in this evening's Senior Boys Championship were the Sunland Stingers after defeating the Tabernacle Falcons 2-0. On the senior girls' side of the net, the Stingers advanced over the 8-Rock Blue Jays, winning that match 2-0. And punching their ticket to the senior girls' title showdown was the BMES Warriors after they vanquished the Falcons 2-0. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Switching gears now in swimming, 10-year-old Grand Bahamian Harold Simmons competed this past weekend in New Providence at the Barracuda CG Atlantic Invitational. Harold won the High Point Trophy, and in doing so, he set a new national record in the 910 boys 100 backstroke in a time of 1 minute 17.02 seconds.
Breaking a record, it was phenomenal, and I felt so good about myself after breaking it. My mindset was a confident mindset. In my head, I was saying, I'm going to break this record.
Harold also placed first in the boys 50 back, 200 back, 50 fly, and 100 free. He also placed second in the 200 free and swam a personal best time. Simmons made the curve to qualifying time in the open 910 boys backstroke.
My coach at the Y here is Coach Ava, and she focuses on mostly technique and drills, and we do sprints a lot too.
And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Connaught Bahamas says now is the perfect time to do all those updates and repairs, changing your flooring or updating those windows. Now in stock at Connaught Bahamas are stylish ceramic plank tiles, shower floor tiles, an array of sizes in porcelain tiles, laminate and vinyl flooring, impact and PVC windows. Connaught Bahamas is stocked out with everything you need to enhance your beautiful home, so you enjoy life the way you should. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
Prevention should be everyone's business. Therefore, we want to remind you not to leave your bags or valuables visibly seen on the seat of your vehicle unattended. This negligent practice will create an opportunity for a criminal to commit a crime. Please desist from such practices.
This message is brought to you by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, creating safer communities.
Bad little lady, you should be driving me crazy. When she licking her lips and moving them hips like come here, baby. I wanna take her down now.
The King of the North is back. Howard 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Our Facebook friend of the night is none other than our Northern Services' very own HR manager, Miss Lisa Stewart. Lisa, we want to wish you a very special happy birthday from the entire team here in the North. And we certainly hope that you enjoy the remainder of your day. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. The nation's chief breaks his silence on the FTX saga. Police producing strategies to tackle crime. No more mask for students. And in sports, the BAI SS softball resumes. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, I'm Jiminita Swain, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Prime Minister and Minister of Finance today breaking his silence on the collapse of cryptocurrency exchange FTX digital markets, now the focus of a massive international and domestic probe. The Prime Minister disclosing in a communication in Parliament this morning that he's given directions that the proceedings and investigations into FTX be given highest priority since its precedents, the amounts involved, and the committed and rigorous oversight of it is of national importance. LTV's Munnings leads us off tonight from the House of Assembly.
Even though the demise of Bahamas-based, now bankrupted crypto giant FTX Digital Markets continues to dominate international business headlines, other global crypto companies have fallen to the same peril. And this prompted Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis to make one thing clear.
The Bahamas did not have sole oversight of FTX's worldwide operation.
The finance minister maintains the government's key priority now is the full and absolute protection of the country's and its citizens' rights and remedies to minimize losses and mitigate the overall impact caused by any misconduct.
Based on the analysis and understanding of the FTX liquidity crisis to date, we have not identified any deficiencies in our regulatory framework that could have avoided this. In fact, it was because the Bahamas already had in place a regulatory framework for digital assets and digital asset businesses that the regulator was able to take the immediate steps that they have done in order to protect the interests of clients, creditors, and other stakeholders globally.
In fact, the Prime Minister declared the Bahamas was already on track to update its digital regulatory framework before year's end to address lessons learned as a result of this year's crypto winter. He indicated in his communication on FTX Digital Markets in the House of Assembly Wednesday that the Bahamas will be among the first jurisdictions to gain and utilize valuable insights from the framework's further enhancement. The Prime Minister also had this message to those who care about our country's reputation. Tread carefully when speaking about very complex and unfolding matters.
There's a reason that the Bahamas won international praise for the approach we have taken to date on digital assets. And there is plenty of room to have a healthy debate about the industry. But this is a story that has the world's attention. And those who use it to mislead and score cheap political points are no patriots.
And the good news is Prime Minister Davis is confident the Bahamas will emerge from the FTX Digital Markets probe with an enhanced reputation as a solid digital assets jurisdiction. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings.
A member of Parliament for Marco CD Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard using his contribution to the mental health bill to criticize government's handling of FTX's implosion, an issue he believes is triggering mental anxiety across the country.
Whenever there is a vacuum and a silence or an absence of explanation or putting in context of such a serious situation as a meltdown of a massive company that is registered here in the Bahamas, that vacuum will be filled by others, many of whom are enemies of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Well, the Prime Minister fired back with this response.
We took, if you listen to me, we took action locally to ensure that we protect the jurisdiction. See, as I'm saying, facts are unfolding. You don't jump ahead of yourself to make these cheap political shots. Understand what the facts are. They're still unfolding. Understand what the difference between the various entities. I mentioned it. Need go no further. And you have to be careful what you're saying because the matter is still being before the courts. Yes. So I try to be as sanguine as possible so as not to say that I'm influencing the proceedings going on to court.
Meantime, reporters today questioned Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando on the FTX Digital Markets debacle. He confirmed police have not interviewed the company's former CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried. No official complaint has been filed, and he hasn't been in communication with law enforcement on the matter.
We don't investigate in social media. We deal with facts. And as I indicated, we have not spoken to him. We are waiting for information from the Security Commission. As you fully aware, they're in charge of the investigation at this point, and as it comes available, we will update you. But at this point in time, we are not investigating this matter at this time, but we are in communication with the Commission.
The Prime Minister, who doubles as the Minister of Finance today, also delivered a communication on the 2022-2023's first quarter performance. In doing so, he touted his government's commitment to maintain transparency and accountability in managing the country's finances. During July and September, government collected $654.3 million in revenue. That's $57.8 million more than previous year. Add to that, the total recurrent expenditure reduced by $47.8 million to close to $620.6 million, and capital expenditure contracted by $10.2 million, now totaling $54.2 million. That has resulted in a first quarter deficit for 2022-2023 of $20.6 million.
This is the lowest first quarter deficit in more than 10 years. A new day has dawned in our Bahamas.
And according to Minister of Finance and Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, those numbers were achieved through his administration's commitment to fiscal prudence and implementing sound policies to stimulate economic growth and generate revenue. The finance minister further disclosed that $35.4 million in value-added tax accounted for a significant portion of the increased revenue collected in the current budget's first quarter, declaring that Bahamians now have more money in their pockets since VAT was lowered from 12 to 10%.
We would have thought that the simple logic of how VAT works had already been demonstrated back in 2018. When the previous administration imposed a sudden hike of 60% increase in the VAT rate. This put an immediate brake on economic growth, and VAT revenues increased only marginally.
Then there's the issue of government travel. The Prime Minister referenced his recent trip to COP27 in Egypt that cemented a blue carbon credit partnership rather than a loan with the International Monetary Fund and a new agreement with the African Export-Import Bank. And he's not apologizing, moving the Bahamas to a stronger influence in the world and continuing to work hard for the best interest of the Bahamian people.
The first quarter expenditure on travel is around 28% of the travel budget, marginally above the 25% level of the amount budgeted for the year. This is not remarkable. Some quarters, it will be a little higher, others a little lower. But by year's end, it should be within budget. In relation to travel for public officials, we have recently learned of 2 instances where travel was conducted for political purposes rather than official business. Although there has been the long-standing practice across several administrations of reimbursing such expenditure, I've instructed a tightening of this practice so as to avoid even the appearance of any impropriety.
The government, meantime, signing a memorandum of understanding this morning with the African Export-Import Bank. The partnership paving the way for the bank to pump millions of dollars into the economy to assist private sector businesses seeking international funding. Fern Carey tells us more.
The multi-million-dollar agreement signed between the Bahamas and the Egypt-based African Export-Import Bank paves the way for multiple benefits for the country, including trade, project development and financing, trade information and advisory services offered by the bank. Minister of Finance, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, indicating that in signing the agreement, the Bahamas joins other Caribbean states in securing a partnership with the African Bank as it expands its operations regionally.
In other words, it will fill the gap in the region for private sector businesses seeking international funding, which is presently not readily available through the CDB, which is the Caribbean Development Bank. This partnership holds much promise. It provides for the promotion and financing of South-South trade between African countries and Caribbean member states. Provision is also made for financing exports and imports of non-traditional African goods and services. Provision of insurance and guaranteeing service coverage for commercial and non-commercial risk associated with African export and imports.
Member states are also expected to support the bank by acting as intermediaries between African traders and traders in the region.
The African Export Bank has also indicated that once the regional office has been established, that it envisages committing an investment of $700 million in the Caribbean as quickly as possible. Ultimately, the CARICOM community will be able to unlock further economic and social benefits at a critical time when so much support is needed. My thanks to the representatives of the African Export Bank for visiting us this morning. You are most welcome. And I must say that the bank has moved with rapid speed, because this follows upon a meeting with myself and the chairman and president of the bank, Professor Benedict, in Egypt at Sharm el-Sheikh, and before 2 days after my meeting with him, he had representatives in the Bahamas.
The head of trade and corporate finance provided more insight on when the institution's regional office will open, as well as how much of the $700 million is earmarked for investment here in the Bahamas.
We're starting immediately on the establishment of some representation for the African Export-Import Bank here in the Caribbean that will evolve eventually into an Exim Bank that will support trade and investment between Africa and the Caribbean. So we've laid the foundation for this, and we are starting to move on that opportunity, and you will hear about it very soon, inshallah. For the investments, we've already started a program, Africa Caribbean Trade and Investment Promotion Program, for $250 million that we are immediately launching for financing and investments.
Bahamians are also expected to benefit from cultural exchanges facilitated by the African Export-Import Bank. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Still talking finance, September's consumer price index shows the country's monthly inflation rate increased by 0.3% compared to this past August results. The September increase rate followed a 0.1% increase between July and August this year. There were several across-the-board increases, a 2% hike in transportation and 1.3% in food and non-alcoholic beverages. However, furniture and household purchases declined some 2% for September. Statistics officials report that on a year-over-year basis, the CPI rose 6.5% over the same period last year.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Lane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. We have two tropical waves out there in the Atlantic Belt. One is about 700 miles to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. Second one, it's several hundred miles to the east of Trinidad and Tobago. Both of these waves are moving towards the west between 10 and 15 miles per hour. However, upper level conditions are not favorable for their development over the next several days. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
There's more to come in the Bahamas tonight. Stay with us.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I could watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC. we need to save. Be happy! Save at KFC with the one-piece chicken box fill-up for only $5.95. Enjoy genuine savings and the genuine flavor of KFC chicken fried to golden perfection with crispy fries, a buttery biscuit, and an ice-cold Pepsi. Only at KFC Nassau.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
To think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
A win for mentally ill patients, caregivers, professionals, and advocates as the government makes a legislative move to hopefully do away with the stigma, shame, fear, and ignorance associated with mental illness in the absence of breakthrough treatment. Mukesh Lapinder tells us more.
Dorian, COVID, inflation, unemployment. On the surface, nothing much in common, yet each has contributed in large measure, some may say, to mental illness, mental disorder, depression, or even anxiety. This year's suicide's indicative of the silent battles being fought, part and parcel of a growing global public sector concern. This very issue, the focus of debate on the revamped mental health bill.
Much to the frustration of those living with mental illness and the mental health professionals who take care of them, mental illness is one of the most neglected areas of public health. However, things are changing. This bill is a testament to that change.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis going further to draw reference to the numerous homeless Bahamians, some of whom he believes were likely mentally ill, who were arrested and imprisoned for curfew violations during the height of the COVID pandemic. He publicly condemned the former administration's policy as lacking compassion.
Under the Mental Health Bill 2022, persons appearing to have mental health illnesses will be taken to the nearest healthcare or mental health facility where they can receive the treatment they need. Imprisoning people or taking them to the police station is a thing of the past. Imprisoning people with mental health illnesses is not a solution.
Instead, individuals diagnosed with or displaying symptoms of mental illness who have committed such offenses will be fined, given up to a year sentence, or both. And similar penalties for those who improperly or unlawfully detain the mentally ill. The proposed legislation repeals the 1969 Mental Health Act. First tabled in July, the present draft was refined to reflect what the Prime Minister sees as the strongest possible version.
The Mental Health Bill 2022 is rightly viewed as a human rights bill. Its focus is to promote community treatment options and to facilitate voluntary admission to mental health facilities. In this bill, we also see provisions made to allow appointed representatives to assist those living with severe mental illnesses in making decisions about their treatment, as well as their personal and financial matters. The bill before us also allows for the establishment of a mental health services board and a mental health review tribunal.
Both the board and tribunal will include a diverse makeup of experts from the public, private, and non-profit sectors. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Makush Lapinder. The mask mandate for education institutions has been relaxed, the latest advisory coming in from the Ministry of Health and Wellness in the case of students of in-class settings. However, masks are still permitted in the case of persons accessing a public or private healthcare facility and a visitor or non-residential worker of a long-term care residential facility. Health and wellness officials remind the public that they should respect individuals who still prefer to wear a mask for protection from COVID-19. Close to 1,000 people heeded the advice to seek safer grounds in NEMA-approved shelters ahead of Nicole's landfall in the northwest Bahamas last weekend. Updating House members on the latest numbers was Minister with Cabinet responsibility for disaster reconstruction and preparedness, the Honorable Miles Laroda.
Grand Bahama, there were 11 shelters that were activated. There were 118 people in those shelters. In Abaco, 15 shelters were activated. There were a total of 841 individuals there. This count includes persons at 2 unofficial shelters, namely the New Haitian Mission Baptist Church and the New Haitian Baptist Church. It's 2 different churches. Bimini, there were 2 shelters that were activated, and 1 person reported to that shelter. The total of 985 persons who registered at shelters in Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini.
Nicole's damage to the Bahamas primarily along coastlines. Still, experts say the system had abnormal characteristics. A late-season storm with 2 distinct sections, a set of core winds most resembling that of a typical hurricane, the other an extensive wind field surrounding the central area behaving much like a subtropical system. And while the end of the Atlantic hurricane season nears, the minister added that the Bahamas is not yet out of the woods. Legislation has been tabled clearing the way for the Disaster Reconstruction Authority and the National Emergency Management Agency to merge.
Moving forward, we want to have an agency that will be much more agile and be a 12-month agency that this time next year, Madam Speaker, hopefully we will have an agency that will be moving and not just pulling agencies together, but have individuals that are 24/7 to deal with these matters.
Well, Abaco's unique charm and ecotourism making a boating and fishing and sailing paradise for locals and tourists. And despite Nicole's recent wrath, there is no indication the island's tourism product will be impacted. Desmond Sanders has more.
Hotel properties like the Abaco Beach Resort reporting minimal impact from last week's Tropical Storm Nicole, which pounded that island with torrential rain and coastal flooding. Good news for a tourism product that continues to rebound. General Manager of the Abaco Beach Resort, Andre McCannu.
We've seen a few cancellations.
How many in total?
People that changed their mind about flying down, but it's only because the flights got canceled also. I wouldn't say more than like 5, 10 rooms. It is a slow period for us in any case. However, we've seen a large increase in bookings for the past 2 days, mainly from the outer Keys. A lot of people that are just want to be safe here. A lot of like airline crews staying here. Delta and all that, they put up all their staff here. And a lot of guests that were supposed to go on boats, they're now, since the boat charters were canceled, they're forced to stay here a few days. Okay. In our beautiful hotel.
Some 71 rooms occupied by 150 guests riding out the storm at the Marsh Harbor Resort. 30 boats were in the marina, and despite Mother Nature, these North Carolina tourists say the experience was stunning.
I mean, we didn't really know what we were getting into, I think. We got here, and
they kind of realized pretty quickly that the kind of island was shutting down. So we kind of hunkered down and bought a bunch of groceries and rode it out. We lost power, but we had water come in the house. But I mean, overall, I guess it won't as bad as it could have been. But I can't imagine being here through something like Dorian.
So we get hurricanes every now and then, you know, but I think watching it firsthand like that was pretty wild. We were kind of staying on the edge, we're watching, you know, the ocean, watching the storm develop and coming in, and you know, we had water kind of rushing in on the basement, and you know, walking around in ankle-deep water, and it was wild for sure.
Our news team took to the streets in the aftermath of the storm, and from all accounts, business was back to normal. And residents, including tourists, are grateful their lives were spared from the storm. Desmond Saunders for the Bahamas Tonight.
Some 30 senior commanding officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force coming together for a meeting of the minds, their first annual conclave. The goal is to map the way forward, review crime-fighting strategies, and implement new measures where necessary. Carla Palmer reports.
Statistics so far to date is but an indication that the police have their work cut out in fighting crime. Highlighting the numbers was Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Munro.
We recorded 118 murders, 388 armed robberies, and that most of the suspects and victims, 82% of the suspects and 67% of the victims, were under the age of 35, and that firearms were used in 90% of our violent crimes.
Minister Munro challenged the police commanders ahead of the start of their working three-day conclave to think outside the box for additional crime-fighting techniques to arrest the problem. Simultaneously, he called on the wider community that if they see and hear of a crime, to say something to authorities.
The persons the police are combating are our children. The persons the police are confronting were raised by us in our homes. We cannot have a culture in which mothers can say, my son isn't a robber, he's a thief, and I get money from him. That is really unacceptable.
Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando accepts that he and his team have had a challenging year. Still not daunted, he recommits every resource to the task of protecting the wider community, especially now since his engine has recently been more fueled by positive developments to making swift justice and the implementation of a national joint task force a reality.
We will follow up on all cases where there are named suspects to bring closure to our minor crimes. We will double our efforts on stolen vehicles. Their vehicles are being used as getaway cars in murders and armed robberies, compounding the crime problem.
On a mission together to fighting crime, Minister Munro further pledged the government's commitment to providing all the resources needed by police with a view to leaving no stone unturned. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
The Exuma man believed to be responsible for a shooting that left one man dead, charged in a magistrate court early Wednesday. 28-year-old Rollville resident Alcott Fox facing a single count of murder for the November 10th shooting death of Malik Fernando. It was shortly after 11 p.m. on the date in question when officers reportedly discovered the victim lying through a track road with multiple gunshot injuries to the upper body. Prosecutors allege Fox is the man who intentionally and unlawfully caused his death. The accused was not required to enter a plea. Fox is due back in court on the 30th of January 2023 for service of voluntary indictment documents. Those documents fast-track the matter to the Supreme Court for trial. Meantime, police are actively investigating a stabbing at the Fish Fry in Georgetown, Exuma early Monday. Reports are that the victim was in an altercation with a group of people when he was stabbed multiple times in the back and on the forearm. He was airlifted here to the capital, where he remains in serious condition in hospital. Police are reminding the public that violence is not the answer and that conflicts can be resolved in more peaceful ways. Well, American entertainment magazine TMZ is reporting that Billy McFarland issued an apology letter to government hours after its press release went public. That letter makes it patently clear that the government will not approve or endorse any event associated with McFarland. The TMZ article quotes McFarland's letter stating that I'm writing to you to profusely apologize for my actions 5 years ago. I was completely wrong and I wholly regret my actions, end quote. His letter goes on to note that his main focus is how he can right his wrongs and how he can make the Bahamas and Family Islands a region he cares about so deeply whole again. Well, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is also combing the Exuma area to verify if Billy McFarland is in the Bahamas. That's according to Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando.
It was a few years ago, and we're trying to identify the complaints. Once we have done that, and if he is here, then he will be arrested and questioned with respect to the matters.
Well, it's now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, rate the government's preparedness and response this hurricane season, A, B, C, or D. To participate, simply log on to our website, www.satinesbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, as always. Thanks for participating. Watching the Bahamas tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Too tired of hoping the right candidates.
Hey, baby, you back? Man, it's so good to be home. All I do is eat, shop, and party.
Well, I know you left well of your money over there. I hope you left COVID there too. Anyway, you could get your COVID test for free.
COVID test for what?
Yes, there is rapid antigen COVID tests for anyone who travel who wants to get one.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't sick. What I need a COVID test for?
You don't have to have symptoms. We just want to be sure that the only thing you brought back with you is what is inside that suitcase.
You say it free?
You do not even have to make an appointment. And guess what? You have your results back within 15 minutes.
Wait, you say it quick, convenient, and it free? Thanks. Let me go find one of these testing sites.
Message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
You know, People to People program has been around for many years. And a few years after the introduction of People to People in the Bahamas, I joined, a very young man. And I can tell you that I was so surprised to see the experiences that you can obtain from this unique program. Meeting people from various countries, you know, hosting them at your home, learning about their culture, and you exchanging your culture with them as well. And then they learn about how warm we are. And all they can do is simply sit there and be amazed to see how outstanding and unique the Bahamian are.
A few months ago, we were actually here filming with the Ministry of Tourism for my television show. And through that experience, we had a chance to visit with the Bain family and do the people-to-people experience, and we just fell in love with it. So then when we had some friends who were talking about coming here to the Bahamas to celebrate, we said, well, if you're going to come, you have to experience this as well for yourself. So we worked with the Ministry of Tourism, and we put this event together. And I got to tell you, everybody loves it. So we have over 100 people that are here in the Bahamas this week, several of whom are right here with us today for this people-to-people experience.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Is someone gonna get that?
Hello.
Hello. So nice of you to have cleaned up for us. Hi, baby.
We're like in-laws that don't show up unannounced.
Don't worry. I've got this.
CG Atlantic. Good like that.
NBA League Pass is the coolest way to watch the hottest game there is. When threes rain down and superstars heat up. When clutch jumpers splash and your team is fire. You'll be there for up to 40 games a week. Any way you want to watch. NBA League Pass. Order now.
Get a merry makeover this Christmas from Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan to win a home renovation. This Christmas, unwrap the celebration. $3,000 for your home, new lamp, new decor, new couch that you
Win
own.
a $3,000 home goods gift card when you apply for a Scotiaplan loan this Christmas. We're giving you the gift of a low interest rate and up to 2 months with no payments. Plan the perfect Christmas with your Scotiaplan loan. Use it for any purpose, plus benefit from flexible payment terms. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan now to enter to win a merry home makeover.
42 Bahamians receiving certification as Foreign Service officers now equipped to represent the Bahamas at available posts globally. The officers underwent more than a year of training in the areas of conversational French, Spanish, introduction to Haitian Creole, foreign policy, and international relations, among other areas. The group's the first to matriculate through the Bahamas Foreign Service Institute, named or renamed as the Bahamas Al Ray Ramsey Institute of Foreign Affairs. Ramsey, a Foreign Service officer, was killed in Turin, Italy in June 2019. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis expressed high hopes the officers will help enhance the country's brand and representation.
You set the tone, the benchmark, the standard. I trust that you understand how tremendous an honor and a responsibility that has been laid upon you. As Foreign Service officers, you will represent the Bahamas and work to advance our diplomatic agenda worldwide. During your time as officers in training, you have learned all the skills necessary to execute your duties as a full service officer. You have learned international diplomacy, studied policy, honed your language and communication skills, and learned to present yourselves.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Public Service, the Honorable Frederick Mitchell, adding that this new crop of officers have the responsibility to represent all Bahamians.
You come from all walks of life, all different levels of education, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not a place for the erudite or highfalutin, because you're representing the Commonwealth of the Bahamas across the world. And I hope that this experience through Ambassador Adams and her staff, support staff, Ambassador Gilbert Morris, teaches you about the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because that's what you're out there to defend, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Today, celebrated as National Geographic Information System Day. Here at home, GIS officials are mandated to serve as government's technical focal point and central repository for the collection, analysis, and management of geospatial data on the Bahamas, and provide GIS training and technical support. To celebrate GIS Day, residents are encouraged to get involved in a citizen science project that uses location information or tell at least one person about GIS. If you haven't heard yet, it's National Kindness Week, launched by Bamboo Shack founder Elaine Pinder. It's a time set aside for Bahamians and residents to do the little things, smiling, feeding a family, donating to a charity, or even saying something nice to a stranger. House Speaker the Honorable Patricia DeVoe appealed to House members this morning to take on the challenge.
Showing kindness has also been linked to significant health benefits, including mental health as well. It is our prayer that this message of kindness will resonate in the hearts of Bahamians, cause a ripple effect, and inspire others to be their best selves while helping others. So, honorable members, let's take on that challenge today, offered by Mrs. Pinder, and let's.
Well, scores of mourners gathered at the Gambier House early Wednesday to pay respects to the life of former parliamentarian, trade unionist, and PLP stalwart Councillor David Knowles. The statesman formerly served as president of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union for a number of years and member of parliament for the former constituency of Salem. A memorial service in his honor, drawing a number of high-profile diplomats, including former Prime Minister the Honorable Perry Christie. Knowles is said to have died peacefully at his home on October 31st at the age of 82. Speaking at the memorial, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis remembered Knowles as a man who embodied the Bahamian spirit.
When you think of David Knowles, the year he was born, the circumstances in which he grew up, and the fact that formal education was an elusive goal for many of them at the time, and to see what he has accomplished in his life to date. And if you were to take a page out of his book and ask yourself what may have influenced and propelled and promoted him to be what he is, I'll use one word: that is service.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas, located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy. Or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
If you've been job hunting for a while, you may want to listen up, as more than 200 jobs are up for grabs in Grand Bahama this weekend. This as labor officials gear up to host their Labor on the Blocks Initiative 2.0. It's a comprehensive job fair designed to bring opportunities to a greater number of people. According to officials, some 29 companies will be represented at the fair on Saturday, November 19th. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, says given the success of a previous job fair held in May, she's hoping more and more Grand Bahamians turn out and do so prepared.
I want to really encourage job seekers of Grand Bahama to come to Labor on the Blocks 2.0 job fair this Saturday, appropriately dressed and ready to be interviewed by employers with your resumes, national insurance cards, police records, and references. Again, to the residents of Grand Bahama, I say to you that as we recover and rebuild our island, that jobs are available.
It's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jimenita. We have near clear skies, temperature at 82 degrees, relative humidity 73%. We have northeast winds at 10 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,018.0 millibars. That is 30.07 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Valles this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 80 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Grand Turk, Key, and Marshall, Barbacoa, Berry Islands at 85. Allenstown, Bimini, 80 degrees, 83 in Harbor Island. Roxanne, Eleuthera, 85 degrees, 82 in Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space on Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey at 85 degrees, 84 in Georgetown, Exuma, 86 in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Megawana, 83, Acklands, Matthew Town, Nagua at 83 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwestern islands tonight through Thursday, winds are going to be light and variable with flat seas 1 to 3 feet. Low tide takes place at 7:57 in the morning with low tide, another low tide at 7:59 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern parts of our country, also through Thursday, easterly winds at 10 to 15 knots and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. As we take you into Friday, in the northwestern islands, the winds become northeast behind a weak cold front, which will go through later on this week. We'll tell you more about that later in the newscast. The low tide takes place at 9 in the morning on Friday with a high tide at 3:06 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, that persistent easterly flow at 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Don't care if you're golden or not, passing through. What you gonna do? Try the wine, passing through. Hey, I wine on something. Wine up on something. Shake up on something. Wine up on something. Now dance up on something. Wine up on something. Shake up on something. Wine up on something. Cause it's free. Got a time. Time to join the line. Time to lose your mind.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Global Learning Exchange can help make your education dreams a reality. Enroll now, and your first course is complimentary. Sign up for a free information session today to learn more.
I've been blown away. Totally love the vibe to really be able to lead this process. I feel a great sense of gratitude around being able to have Shelly to be here with us.
This event was one that you had to be here.
You know, any time that I am able to spend time with especially young women who have aspirations and things they want to achieve, it is just always wonderful. So this has been a terrific experience today.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
Not one, not two, but 3 days of fun. Get your 20s ready because there's something for everyone. That's right. Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center on Mackey Street in the former Q Club building is having a 3-day Binorama. November 25th, 26th, and 28th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Anything you want in the bin, from a selection of house and kitchenware items, games, toys, and electronics for just $20. So come on down because this is an event you don't want to miss.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball. Oh, welcome to your Wednesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. After a week-long delay due to inclement weather and subsequent passage of Hurricane Nicole, the BAI says softball championships resuming at the Freedom Farm Baseball Park yesterday afternoon as 8 teams would vie one step closer to being crowned champions. In junior boys action, it would be a hotly contested affair in Field 1 as the Queens College Comets would take on the Temple Christian Sons. This game would certainly set the trend for the others to follow, as this would go right down to the wire. Ultimately, it would be the Comets getting out to the 1-zip series lead with an 11-8 win.
We had a shaky and nervy start and came out really well, especially the 4th innings. Lots of runs, became really sensible with the bat. We hope to do exactly the same tomorrow.
In any game, one got to lose, one got to win. It's unfortunate our pitcher had injury, so we have to substitute all of a sudden, you know.
The Comets coach on getting his team to stay focused after a long layoff.
I mean, mindset's a big thing in terms of our preparation. We were told we were going to be starting from where we were up to in the last game, which was 3 runs up with 2 outs in the second. So we were looking really comfortable. Mindset for the boys is really important. So it was about focus. Didn't really think we had that in the first innings, but they finished really, really strong.
Over in junior girls, this one would be a very high-scoring affair as the teams would seemingly trade leads after each inning. The Sac Big Red Machine and the Queens College Comets would combine for 42 runs in 5 innings. Getting the better of QC would be Sac, escaping with the 23-19 win and taking the 1-zip series lead. From the association, Buddy Hield continuing his hot start to the season. Buddy Buckets would score a team-high 22 points and grab 8 rebounds in the Pacers' 118-104 win over the Toronto Raptors. He shot 5 of 11 from beyond the arc, his 7th game this season with at least 4 3-point field goals. With the win, the Pacers improved to 6-6, currently ranked 6th in the Eastern Conference. After Toronto went ahead by 15 in the first minute of the third quarter, the Pacers went on a 20-6 run to get back into the game. Hield, who recently signed a multi-year shoe deal extension with Nike, is averaging 18.7 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. He's also shooting 47% from the field, 41% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. Hield currently ranks 2nd in the league in 3-point field goals made with 49, behind Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. From the collegiate ranks, coach coach Yolette McPhee-McCoon and her Ole Miss Lady Rebels conquered its first road game of the 2022-2023 season, defeating the Little Rock Trojans 58-40 at the Jack Stevens Center on Sunday. The Rebels, who are now 3-0, packed their defense in their suitcase, only allowing Little Rock to score 40 points, the fewest yielded by Ole Miss since winning 59-37 at Hofstra last season. Markeisha Davis led the team in scoring with 13.
Incredibly happy with our group. I thought that they, on the road, you gotta pack your defense in your suitcase, and I thought we defended at a high level, communicated at a high level offensively, got some shots to fall as we continue to, open up the floor. I was really happy with our overall play for 40 minutes.
And Coach Yo says she was extremely impressed with her team's smothering defense.
Defensively, we have been looking for that type of intensity since we first started playing, and I was really happy that we just it almost felt like it was just us in the gym, like we just had our goals and we wanted to get kills, which is 3 stops in a row, and we just really locked in. I felt like it was just us in there, and when it's like that, we're defending at a high level.
And while the Bahamas men's national team programs with a pair of games in its most recent window of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag, reassuring the public that the Bahamas' hopes of qualifying for the Olympics in basketball is still not off the table. The next few games will be vital.
Understanding that where we are right now and the opportunity for us as a country, knowing the level of players we have, that's why these guys come out and fight and hope to live to see another day, that when persons like Buddy Hield and DeAndre Ayton and Kai Jones them come around, that they stay alive so that these guys could come home and give us an opportunity to make the Olympic. It was always been my dream that one day I would see the Basketball Federation play in the Olympics, and I always knew I would be in administration and not as the coach. But that time is here. I spoke to Buddy the other day, and we all feel as though that time is close and we will make it. But we have to take care of our business in the next window on these teams that we think we're capable of beating, whether on their home floor or not. And then hopefully in the summer times when we got our better players home, we are able to scale out a win or two and be able to move on. I think if we get to the Olympics, the Bahamian people will be proud to see other players that are Bahamian descent who is willing and able and ready to play for us, but just can't play at this time. And so the excitement is there, and I just can't wait for us to continue our success, so hopefully we get there one day.
And that's been a look at your sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return. The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall Geologics Gymnasium, the best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly backup your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Get a merry makeover this Christmas from Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan to win a home renovation. This Christmas, unwrap the celebration. $3,000 for your home, new lamp, new decor, new couch that you own.
Win a $3,000 home goods gift card when you apply for a Scotiaplan loan this Christmas. We're giving you the gift of a low interest rate and up to 2 months with no payments. Plan the perfect Christmas with your Scotiaplan loan. Use it for any purpose, plus benefit from flexible payment terms. Apply for a Scotiaplan loan now to enter to win a merry home makeover.
Come for the specials and stay for the savings at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.79. Hunt's tomato paste, 12 ounce, $1.95. Whole chickens, $1.99 per pound. Panama raw shrimp, $41.50, 12 ounce, $5.99. Baking potatoes, 5 pounds, $3.99. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Time now for weather.
And our final look at weather, we have this frontal boundary across the southern United States that will push towards the south and east, and by tomorrow afternoon later, during the early evening hours, we expect it to move over the northwest Bahamas, stalling there for several days. That will be with us until about Saturday. Come Sunday, it makes a push towards the south and east that will lead to some clearing over the northwest Bahamas on Sunday, which will be short-lived because by Tuesday of next week, that frontal system will back up once again over the northwest Bahamas, bringing with it some more showers in the forecast area before making a final push towards the south and east by the middle of the week, and that is when we'll see some milder temperatures. Tonight, though, we're going in for partly cloudy conditions with a passing shower, 73 degrees for the low temperature, and tomorrow, a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine, passing showers still in the forecast with a high temperature of 84 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, it's going to be wet through the weekend, off and on showers and isolated thunderstorms as a result of that system stalling over the northwest Bahamas. As you can see on Sunday, things clear up temporarily as it makes that push towards the south and east. But by Tuesday of next week, it backs back up over us. So we'll see the clouds sticking it up on Monday with showers picking up once again, and that will carry into Tuesday. But by Wednesday, that final push takes place, and you'll see some cooler temperatures getting into the upper 60s during the nighttime. Jimenita?
Thanks, Basil. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching, and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.